hell?
Hello there, and welcome back to hell. This is Welcome to Hell episode 22, Demo Stacks volume 10 already. And we got a bonus 7-inch vinyl stacks episode at the end. So don't go anywhere after we're done with the demo tapes. And I wanted to introduce 7-inch stacks and start doing those because I realized got into a box, a couple 2-tree boxes, and realized I got the old 7 inches too. And those things are fucking cool, and they're rare. So, and then I realized like I could separate them into label, the labels that they were on. So could do some label spotlights, thrash records, Seraph Decay, putrefaction, you name it, pretty much. I tried to collect as many as possible back in the day. So got a ton of those fucking things too. And some very legendary ones, some fucking cool ones, a whole bunch of different labels. And also, some one-offs, 1 or 2, maybe 3 on a label. I got a couple today that were on the same label. I'll discuss that. I'll try to cover, Thrash Records and Seraph Decay had a ton. So those episodes will be a little bit longer, but I'll try to mix it up. There'll be some labels that only have 5 or 6 releases. We'll get a little in depth with those maybe, but we'll see. It'll be fun. I know underground freaks that weren't around back then, and you might be obsessed with that same kind of shit that I am. It'll be fascinating for you to check these things out, talk about them, talk about how I got them. There seems to be a story about most of these releases, so, and if I can remember, like I said, sometimes I don't remember where the hell I got these things, but can't remember everything. Not perfect, but, try my best, and should be fun. And I also realized that I have a lot of demos that come from different states, different countries. So I'm going to start breaking that out. We're going to do regional stuff, national, international. I got some stuff from Texas, New York, somewhere like Florida was obviously a hotbed, and even other countries like Belgium, Australia, Germany, the obvious ones, Sweden, Finland, obviously covered a lot of those bands already. Covered a lot of the bands from New York and whatnot, but even like Pennsylvania, Ohio, here in California, I decided to split it up, Northern California and Southern California, and I got a little bit of Orange County and LA in the Southern California one. And then up north, we have San Jose, Oakland, San Francisco. So it's spread out a little bit. California is huge. So, but, even somewhere like Japan, a lot of legendary bands came out of there. So for that, I'll probably do like 8 demos for the countries and the states. But so, yeah, the demo stacks and the 7-inch stacks will be interesting. And obviously, I've discussed doing LPs as well. So I got classic LP stuff coming up. So just really busy. I was earlier today, David and I were in Trench Studios with our brother John Haddad, and we were tracking drum tracking the rest of the Ruin album, Psychopaths. So we're done with drum tracking for now. So that was awesome. You might have seen that online on the social medias and whatnot. So yeah, I got some fun stuff coming. And then the third interview will be coming in a couple weeks. And I've already been talking to 2 or 3 of my friends trying to schedule and stack those around everything. So I might have some time to hit 2 videos in a weekend again coming up, but I don't know. It's just my schedule gets packed with various things, not just music and YouTubing. There's other real life stuff that gets in the way, whether it's work or just handling stuff at the house, So it's about that time. And then the holidays are coming too. So, even cold-hearted, dark-hearted motherfuckers like me, we celebrate that shit, especially Halloween. So should be fun. Best time of year, especially too. Halloween, nice and cold, chilling out a little bit. But yeah, so I'll keep everybody updated on that stuff. Got some really cool stuff planned, some fanzine episodes too, but some of this other stuff, it's got a lot of stuff to cover. So it's going to be interesting trying to fit all this stuff together and get it out there. And yeah, we're going to have a blast, you fucking sickos. So without further ado, let's fucking go. All right, we are going to start this episode of the Demo Stacks with Aggressor, the Merciless Onslaught. Classic stuff, as I always like to say. So Aggressor was formed in 1986 in France. And this is their first demo from 1986. I got this off of my friend Theory from Septicore fanzine, and he also did the Morbid Noise tape compilations that he seems to be a little bit more known for. On that subject, I haven't found my Septicore zines yet, but I am going to do another tape compilation, underground death metal tape compilation episode. And here is the Morbid Noise compilations that got around. That's number 3 right there. And I was able to find some of these. I don't think I found all of them because I had like 1 through 6 because I used to write to Theory all the time. So Theory was based out of Belgium. There's number 4. And then just to give you an example, so he did the Septicore fanzine and then did the accompanying Morbid Noise compilations to go along with the fanzine. And this is an example of, I believe this is comp number 3, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, look at that. Cadaver, Samael, Vader, Necrophile, Merciless from France, Deceased is on there, Massacre from Colombia. I mean, just some classic stuff. And yeah, so that was a little fold out. Nocturnus is on there. Really cool. And that gives you an idea of some of the heavy hitters. But this is all like early on too. I believe this is the comp number 3. So this probably somewhere around 1990, 89, 90, somewhere around there was one of the earlier ones. So yeah, Theory was a madman. And just discussing stuff with him. I had never heard Aggressor, and with a G, with 1 G, I should say, not with a G, with 1 G, Killer Death Thrash. And, a part of the communication with your pen pals is sometimes they had their tape trading list as part of the letter written out, or they actually typed it out. Theory actually typed it out because he was a fanzine guy. So he had a fancy typed out list of stuff that he had and also a want list of stuff that he was looking for. And just like I said in earlier episodes, everybody was obsessed with Terrorizer, Nausea, Majesty as far as Los Angeles goes. So, because at the time Sadistic Intent was getting out there, but, Enrique and Rick and Bay were writing to a lot of people. So that conflict within Demo was getting all over, and then the later 7 inches and stuff too. But the Nausea and old Terrorizer Majesty stuff was really difficult to get. They out of the area people did not have any contacts for a lot of that by that time. So for whatever reason, don't know why, but so they were always hitting me up. Theory, he definitely wanted the Nausea and Majesty stuff specifically, and then of course the old Terrorizer stuff when they're a little more death metal. Obviously World Downfall fucking rules. It's more straight grindcore. But when Terrorizer first came out, they're a little bit more barbaric, especially Majesty too. But that, the Terrorizer Nausea demo, which I'll feature on an upcoming show, is just an all-time classic. totally heavy duty. But yeah, so Theory sent me this, and kind of similar to the pentagram demo in one of the last episodes. Theory just filled up a lot of the stuff. Obviously, the 86 demo, the Merciless Onslaught, but he filled up the rest of the tape with a lot of their other stuff, other demos, some live stuff, rehearsals, stuff like that, stuff that he got from the band. He had gotten in contact with the band, because Aggressor was a hardcore, heavy duty death thrash underground band in the mid to late 80s into the 90s. So Theory was in contact with them. This demo has 3 songs: Blood Feast, Lucifer's Spell, and 666. So yeah, on this tape, it has a 87 rehearsal, the Satan Sodomy demo. It was also in 87, and then a later rehearsal in 1988. So that's what's on here. And Noise Records actually signed Aggressor. Aggressor was the first French metal band to get signed on a major label. Noise Records was a major label back then. They had a lot of heavy hitters like Creator and Sabat from England, and I believe Voivod was doing some stuff. There's a lot of bands in Europe specifically that were working with Noise Records. Some Celtic Frost stuff, I remember. I'll have to do a spotlight on Noise. I'll have to do some more research. That's going way back when I first started getting into the underground, looking at, definitely had a lot of Noise Records albums in my collection for sure. So that 1990 was when Noise Records put out the Never Ending Destiny album from Aggressor. It was an all-time classic. Love that fucking album. Totally killer. I also got that split with Loud Blast. So Aggressor and Loud Blast did a split together, and that was awesome too. So, Aggressor's been around forever and put out a lot of stuff. Classic band, and they're still active and kicking ass. They are probably doing a lot of the European festivals and stuff. I don't think they've ever been to America, unfortunately. If they have, maybe I just missed it or something. I'm not really sure if they've ever played MDF or one of the other underground fests that happen. But yeah, if you like, raging death thrash, this is definitely your band. Killer stuff. And let's jam some of the demo real quick. Yeah, that fucking song's gonna rule when there's some finger tapping going on. Fuck yeah. So killer stuff. Yeah, Theory, when I was chatting with him, you've never heard of Aggressor? Well, that needs to change. So that was one of the priorities. He had to get me a Aggressor demo. It was pretty cool too. I was just recently talking to my buddy Steve-O from Impetigo, and we were talking about the old days and whatnot, and demos. And I had gone through a box of demos, and obviously I did a show on Church of Misery, his old doom band, and I'm a huge Impetigo fan, and they have that insane box set coming out. And yeah, got to get a copy of that. I'll do a whole goddamn episode on that fucking beast. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but probably like the best box set ever, as far as I'm concerned. It's just because, I'm a little biased. I'm a fucking Impetigo fucking freak. So, but anyways, we were chatting about the old days, and Steve was like, "Yeah, I remember when when people made you demos and they didn't send Xerox covers. That it was just it was blasphemy. You put them on the shit list." So I started cracking up, and I got really lucky, because don't get me wrong, those the tapes, the written out tapes on the supplied J cards on your TDK or Maxells or whatever, they would write out demos and stuff. They wouldn't. Some people wouldn't Xerox covers. They just fill up tapes. That's perfectly fine. All that matters is the music. But Theory was cool enough to actually Xerox the copy for me, put it into a case, and send it as is. So that's why I call them Tape Trader bootlegs. They're high quality. I might end up doing a show on some of those old, just written down compilation tapes and stuff of demos. The thing is, though, like when you get those, you listen to them, then you go out and get the actual demo. I mean, that's how I did it, because I'm a fucking nerd like that. I had to I need my hands on the real fucking deal, or at least a copy of it somehow, a bootleg Tape Trader copy. So, yeah. Here's the Aggressor logo. You've seen that out there, I'm sure, you sickos. And then here's the boys hanging out. The outskirts. Not sure if they were from Berry or the Alps. Never been to France, but it's a huge country and a lot of area. So they're out there in the wilderness, ready to death thrash it up. Dude on the left has his jeans with the band logos written on them. Yeah, I used to do that too. I used to have all kinds of bandanas, when I first started getting into Motley Crue and Def Leppard and shit like that, Scorpions. I used to get a bunch of different colored bandanas and put them up and down my leg. At one time, I had like 10, 12 of those fucking things. Looked absolutely ridiculous. I even had a Union Jack muscle shirt. I had no muscles. I was in 4th grade, 3rd grade, something. But I had to copy Joe Elliott from Def Leppard from the Photograph video, So I'm walking around with my Union Jack shirt, my bandanas. At the mall, you can get the little really cheesy mall-made shirts. I got a Shout at the Devil Motley Crue. It was like a yellow shirt with the little like iron-on plastisol, whatever the hell that was. And basically it would come off if you sweat in it, or your ma washed it once. A decal, plastic decal, or whatever the hell it was. You had to be really careful with them. First time I got it washed, I was all pissed off. Oh no, my Motley Crue shirt's fucked. So had to go get another one. Fucking had to do a bunch of hellacious chores to get some more money to go get a new damn Motley Crue shirt. But yeah, a little later on, I ditched the bandanas and started writing Metallica and Slayer and Iron Maiden and Venom on my jeans. I was always a horrible artist. So yeah, a lot of times I would just write the letters on there because I couldn't draw band logos because I don't have that type of talent, unfortunately. My only talent is shitty death metal and shitty YouTubing. So there's the Merciless Onslaught, Alex, Momo, and Destroy. I don't know if those are all original members or not. I assume Alex is still in the band for sure. But yeah, Blood Feast, Lucifer Spell, and 666. And Alex did the fucking classic logo too. Look at that. Fucking severed arm. Severed arm with the A around the fingers like that. That's killer. Classic. All right. Well, that was Aggressor. That's our first demo of the Demo Stacks, episode 22, volume 10 Stacks episode. Aggressor, go check it out. Bang your head. All right, the next band on the demo stacks list are the Japanese Maniacs, GORE Beyond Necropsy. To get the glare off of there. Classic grind noise, madness, disgusting. Killer stuff if you're into subversive, just fucked up grindcore. Japanese Maniacs, they were formed in 1989. This is their first demo from 1991. And my good buddy John Lee from Half-Life Records, that's what he's known as now, does a lot of merchandising for bands. And he started with Catatonic Records, talk about a 7-inch that he put out here a little bit later. That's going to kick off the 7-inch stack stuff I've been talking about. But yeah, John was really into Japanese like grind, noise, gore, and even the death metal stuff. You know, there was the Japanese death metal had already started kind of getting known with Necrophile, Transgressor, Multiplex. You know, bands, a few bands that came before them and after them, but those were like the big ones that got known right away. Obviously later Psy, they're more black metal, but so the Japanese music scene, underground music scene was getting known, but there was a kind of a grindy gore, just fucked up scene that was kind of bubbling up, and John really got into it. So GORE Beyond Necropsy, Catasexual Urge Motivation, Clotted Symmetrical Sexual Organ, and then even like different types of stuff like outside the realm of metal, like Zenijiba, the Boredoms, and Masana and stuff like that. So John was really getting into that stuff, and he was kind of showing us at Extinction of God, like me and Bart and Robert from Ruin, and you know, a lot of our buddies, some of this noisy stuff, you know, subversive, fucked up, you know, which, you know, to me has a lot in common already with death metal and grindcore and, you know, really fucked up fast thrash stuff that we were already into. So yeah, GORE Beyond Necropsy just kind of fit right in, you know, they fit right in, and we were just all about it, you know. There's 7 songs of just grind noise sewage on here. It's really abrasive and unhinged, you know, total death noise, you know, grinding death noise, I always called it. Just totally fucked up. It's definitely not for everybody, you know. It's some fucked up shit for sure. And let me play a video real quick, and then we'll get back into discussing the band. This video is cool. It's actually from 1997. I didn't find any older material, unfortunately, like around the time of this demo in 91, but this is cool. So this is them opening for Mortician. This is Mortician's first time in Japan, and GORE Beyond Necropsy were able to play that show. So here's some crazy footage of these sickos. Enjoy. Has some fucked up stuff. That's fucking killer though, man. Yeah, the 7 songs on here, the titles are Grotesque Appetite, Embalmed Ground, The Day of Fulfillment, my favorite, Embryonic Oozing, Ophal Devourment, The Metaphysical Art of the Altruistic, and Floating Flesh. Killer stuff. Here is their original logo from back in the day. Well, you know, one of them. They had a couple. The one on this demo is a little bit different. Here's an old photo of the boys hanging out in Japan. Look like young bucks. Handsome youngsters just discovered Japanese pornography and English grindcore, and they're going to merge them. And and like snuff films. So they took those 3 and started beating off in the jam room and making some fucking death noise, man. Fucking thanks, fellas. We enjoy it and we fucking love you. There's the cover. And yeah, John was he was all about this shit, man. So it was cool, you know, him playing us this stuff for the first time. We're just shaking our heads like, you know, this is even fucking crazier and sicker than Napalm Death and Carcass, you know. I mean, Carcass was pretty much the ultimate, and this stuff was almost. I mean, the production reminded me of the production on this reminds me of the Carcass demo and even the Reputrefaction album, you know. Classic stuff. But yeah, Gore, Beyond Necropsy, they're still at it too. So if you have a chance to check them out, if they come play your region or whatever, you saw that footage. I mean, I know they're older now, but they're still at it. So I bet they're still fucking killing it. They put out a lot of stuff, just like a lot of the grindcore bands. They might have done a full length at some point, but it's mostly splits, EPs, live stuff, and crazy videos and stuff like that. There's all kinds of bootlegs out there, I'm sure, too. You know, that's this is the type of subversive stuff that the underground thrives on, you know, just getting copies of Gore Beyond Necropsy and shit like that. The perfect soundtrack to your favorite snuff film, I guess. Killer shit. GBN fucking rules, so go hunt that shit down. All right, moving right along. The next band from Finland, formed in 1989. Mordicus. Grown under shade of sorrow. One of my all-timers. If you like Fin Death, then obviously you know who Mordicus is, and I'm sure you love Mordicus too. So, yeah, 1989. They were formed. This demo was put out in 1991. This is their second demo, and you know, it's got 6 songs, clocking in around 23 minutes. Prime Fin Death. Like I said, if you're a fan of Fin Death, then that you should, you know, this band is not a stranger to you. So yeah, they got Pythogenetic Gash Obstruction, Excreted to Live, Perverse Fomenting, The Pact, Shine of Sorrow, and Scriptal Cryptograms. Yeah, I got some crazy song titles there. We're getting all tech on us. Yeah, so it's 6 songs, 23 minutes. So the song lengths are pretty good. They're all timed very well. Lots of fucking killer riffs. A couple of the songs are about 5 minutes. There's a couple that are 2 minutes. Really quick, come along, crush you, and fucking take off while you're fucking bleeding to death. The you know the sound, like I said, it's Fin Death. It's fucking big time, death metal, at the time up there, a lot of Carcass and Bolt Thrower influence, and a lot darker than their counterparts in Norway and Sweden, as far as a lot of us are concerned. This had a darker atmosphere to them, more haunting. Seems like maybe, I don't know if they watched more horror movies, but some of the Fendeath stuff definitely sounds like a horror movie soundtrack. Classic heavy death, heavy as fuck. The Finns always had eerie passages, and like I said, a big Carcass and Bolt Thrower influence, and Mordicus is no different. So like I said, yeah, this is their second demo in 1991, and let me play some of it real quick. Could you tell that Ruin's a little influenced by Mordicus? Definitely. Fucking love this demo, man. Fucking heavy death. Lots of good fast parts too. They did later on they did a 7-inch with that fucking bastard Steve from Seraphic Decay, but they did the 7-inch. He had changed the label to Skin Drill Records, which I'll do I don't know if I'm going to do the Seraphic Decay and the Skin Drill stuff at the same show, because actually with Skin Drill he did do good 5 or 6 more killer fucking 7-inches, maybe more. I gotta count them, but I got a good handful that was just Skin Drill too. So I mean, he was an ass and he ripped a lot of people off, but he was a great finder of talent, so to speak. He knew what to put out. He knew he had good taste for sure. Because I mean, you look at the Seraphic Decay stuff alone, man, fucking monumental, fucking amazing. But yeah, it's weird too. They put out a bunch of demos, and I have a couple more too. I don't think I have all of them, because they kept putting them out throughout the 90s and the 2000s from what I've been told. So that's crazy. And of course that Dances from Left album in 93 is fucking amazing. A little bit different, but still fucking some killer death metal classic stuff. Definitely going to be on my favorite LPs list that'll be coming up. Just got to figure out how I'm going to break that up a little bit. Anyways, back to Mordicus demo. I'm not really familiar with their later stuff, unfortunately. Just this era and this demo and a couple of the other ones. There's their logo. You might have seen around. I think that was the logo on the 7-inch. There's the boys hanging out. Got their upside down crosses, ready to go to church. Sunday morning pre-church gathering in the fucking forest. Dude down there on the ground, he's fucking pissed. He's like, why do I gotta go to church? Fuck this shit. I just want to death metal it up. It's all right, brother. You ended up death metaling it up anyways. But yeah, they're out there in Finland. Got the shades on. Maybe that's why he's bent down there. He forgot his fucking glasses, and the sun's just fucking brutal that morning. Like, fuck. Maybe it's the afternoon. I don't know. There's the cover. And I got this demo. I almost forgot to mention. I got this demo from Isto Gentleman up there. He was the guitar player. Isto was cool. I got a couple demos from Isto and didn't get anything else. I don't remember them having shirts. Some bands had them and some bands didn't back then. They were not easy to make, especially over there, it seems like. I don't remember a lot of band shirts. I know the Swedes were doing them, but, I got some import shirts from over there. But, I didn't get one from Mordicus. Just a couple of their demos. Isto was cool. I don't know if Isto is still in the band or not. But let's see. There we go. So, I'm not really familiar with the later stuff, unfortunately. But, look it up. Grown Under Shade of Sorrow. One of my favorites, fucking Heavy Fin Death. You heard it. If you want to hear more, look up that link or hit me up and I can direct you towards it. Classic stuff. One of my, definitely one of my favorite demos that I have. Probably, let's see, in my top 25, I probably have it 306. That's the ranking. So my top 25 or maybe even my top 40 is, it has like 300 demos in there. So got a lot of favorites. All right, moving on. One of my all-time favorite bands. This shirt that I'm wearing. Repulsion. Fucking what a demo. Slaughter of the Innocent. It's basically Horrified, Slaughter of the Innocent, same thing. I'm not 100% sure if Repulsion had Horrified remastered or what the story is with that, but basically it's the same recording as far as I know. I might be mistaken on that. It sounds the same to me. They're hand in hand, fucking just brilliant, flawless, perfect, fucking one of my all-time favorite bands. And they only, did this demo and the album that fucking slaughtered all. There's other past stuff that they've done under Tempter and Genocide and whatnot, but as Repulsion, the original band and concept of the 80s, it was just the demo and the album. They did the awesome the Excruciation 7-inch on Relapse and another demo in the 90s. I consider it like two different eras in that way. I'm just weird like that, but I like that era too. Fucking killer. But this fucking demo, man. I mean, I plan on doing like a classic demo stacks era, classic era demo stack, like my favorites, just the pure heavy hitters, all timers that fucking changed my life, and I was going to put this one on that list or whatever, but I just, said, fuck it. I'm going to put it on this list because I just happened to grab it. The way my brain operates too is I like to stay on task, so I just grab 6 random demos and whatever I grab is what I grab. So don't get me wrong. All these demos and the past demo stacks, these are all some of my favorites. And this is definitely an all-timer though. But that other list concept I'm talking about, it'll be something a little bit different. I'll explain that once those episodes start coming out. But let's blast some fucking godly Repulsion real quick.
We're
Scott Carlson's fucking fuzzy bass sound, man. Fuck yeah, I know Shane Embry definitely was influenced by that fucking rumble. Fucking brilliant shit. Got this demo, the Extinction of God Compound, got this demo from Steve-O from Impetigo. He was nice enough to Xerox the cover because he was a fucking true tape trading maniac. So him and Bart were tape trading like crazy back then. And yeah, Steve-O sent the Mighty Repulsion Slaughter the Innocent demo. And we were, oh shit, cool. So listen to that fucking thing all weekend. And this demo came out in 86. We did not get it in 86. Horrified came out in what, 89? So we got this demo a couple years after that, probably 91, 92 maybe. Maybe it might have been 90, but yeah, Steve-O was nice enough to hook us up. So if either one of us back then at Extinction of God got the got demos, you know, we'd obviously make copies for each other. Fucking, we were always at Kinko's doing the zine stuff and doing the tape stuff anyways. So we would just make covers of, because every week we had a new fucking grip of demos coming in, whether they were coming in the mail or we were getting them from other tape traders or we were actually buying them at Wild Rags, whatever, going to shows, getting them from Raphael and Tony and the other bootleggers or whatever. So it's definitely one of the greatest demos of all time. I got into the discussion with Matt, my buddy Matt Harvey, and you know, I'd always honestly considered Repulsion just more of an innovative grindcore band, you know, but Matt was kind of, he flipped my mind when he said, no, they're a death metal band. They're just like one of the fastest death metal bands ever. And I started thinking about it and I was like, yeah, he's right. The topics, the themes, the style, instead of like a, you know, the passing of the torch from thrash to death was one thing, but Repulsion kind of just went from punk to death grindcore. You know what I mean? Yeah, they had some thrashy, you know, elements to it, but it was more just that punk energy, you know, Slaughter, Cryptic Slaughter, Wehrmacht, you know, it's just kind of that just real fucking fast abrasive. And, you know, and Repulsion was from Flint, Michigan. So, you know, they definitely had that raw rock and roll influence in a way, rocking, you know, weren't a rock and roll band, but I know they were, you know, Scott and Matt live out here now, great dudes, you know, they're friends. And those guys are all into rock and roll and MC5 and the Stooges and even stuff like Negative Approach, you know, and Misfits and, you know, just Repulsion just kind of put all that shit into a blender. And obviously Repulsion was connected to Slaughter and Chuck down in Florida with Death and Mantis and all that. So I think Repulsion was going to join Death at one point or vice versa. Maybe Chuck was going to join Genocide. I forget, but they were hooked up and they were buddies. They were hanging out. So yeah, it was just, you know, 18 songs in 30 minutes, grinding death metal madness, you know, an absolute classic. And funnily enough, you know, it also became an absolute classic album too. So it's kind of unique in that sense. You know, the demo comes out in 86, then 2-3 years later, they put it out as an album, and just a total fast ripping, grinding, disgusting death metal classic, you know. And like I said, there's, you know, grinding, you know, influences, grind parts to it in a sense, you know, and they obviously influenced grindcore, you know, because Napalm took the Stench of Burning Death on the beginning of the demo on the album and used that on their stuff, and you know, just kind of an ode, a tribute to Repulsion, Genocide, and you know, just fucking, like I said, flawless, fucking relentless, absolute fucking classic. Here's the classic logo. I'm wearing it on my chest right now. People have this shit tattooed. They got the rotting face tattooed as well. That's on this cover and on the album, of course. There's the boys, the young pups, hanging out in Flint, ready to fucking death grind it up. And then here is the cover. Just unreal shit that this was fucking Dave Grave was fucking just light speed in 1986, you know. I mean, again, you know, you talk about when I was talking about Pentagram, how fast they got. I don't know if they were, a lot of these cats were influenced by some of the Swedish stuff, like A Social, Mob 47, obviously Cryptic Slaughter. Some of these bands were just getting light speed. DRI was fucking super fast back then, almost like out of control. Bands are getting so fast, it was just like, what the fuck? And Deep Wound was another Midwest band that was just playing at light speed. It was just like, let's play as fast as fucking possible. But yeah, just fucking monumental shit. Thank you, Steve-O. All-time classic. I was, you know, when I was chatting with him, like I mentioned earlier, he does remember sending this demo to us. So fucking killer. Great memories. Great memories. All-time classic. Repulsion. Slaughter of the Innocent. All right. We're going back to Sweden for the next band. Surprise, surprise, like I always say. Fucking Eternal Darkness. Some doom death. Formed in 1990 in Sweden, and they were actually called Necropsy prior to Eternal Darkness. And this is their third demo. And I got the other two as well, but actually this is their third demo, and this is the demo 92. So I got all the Eternal Darkness stuff. There are 3 demos on the 7-inch that was on Distorted Harmony. I got got all those at Wild Rags. Richard was really into this band, so he was in contact with somebody. So there was, you know, the demos in the 7-inch were always there. So I definitely had to pick them up. Great stuff. So yeah, formed in 90. This demo's 92. You know, total doom death, slow and eerie stuff. It has some melodic parts, you know, but still really dark and heavy. Sometimes even sad boy shit, right? But then sometimes heavy as fuck too. So very Paradise Lost, you know, kind of slow and prodding. Got some mid-pace parts, some double bass parts, but yeah, really prodding and crushing for the most part. There's 4 songs on here. And interestingly enough, like as far as like Death Doom, you know, some of the Death Doom stuff is, some of it's long. Some of the songs, you know, it's kind of long and drawn out. Some of the recordings are pretty lengthy. But Eternal Darkness, they're pretty quick with it on that front. You know, they don't have super long songs. And let's see. Yeah, 4 songs on here. The song Psychopath, people might know that from the excuse me, the Swedish death metal book compilation, you know, stuff that was out there. I think they did vinyl and CD on those. Not sure if they did tape or not, but it's like fucking shit ton of fucking Swedish death metal bands are on there. Eternal Darkness was on there. Psychopath was on that. Twilight in the Wilderness, A Pleasant Surprise, and The Island of Fear. And yeah, there's pretty much average length between 3 and 4 minutes, you know. So like I said, it's pretty quick. They aren't very epic compared to other Death Doom bands, but they got a lot of good catchy riffs and ideas in the 3 or 4 minute time slot that they do get the stuff going. So fucking just a dark, dismal classic. Lot of good haunting harmonies, like I mentioned before, very much into they must have been very much into Paradise Lost, because it's very much like that Lost Paradise gothic, you know, type stuff. Real heavy. And after this, they did that 7-inch is fucking great too. So yeah, killer fucking band. Let's play some Eternal Darkness. Yeah. Hey, you know what? They're not for everybody. If you're looking for some fast death metal, if you know, I'm fucking crazy like that, so I can go from Repulsion to Eternal Darkness like that. Fucking, because I'm a fucking psychopath like that. But, you know, some people, they can't go from Repulsion to Eternal Darkness. They don't like that slower stuff. I know some of my friends are, this is too fucking slow. Shut up. Shut up, bang your fucking head. Wimp. Gotta love the slow stuff too, you know? Fucking slow, heavy, fucking doom and gloom. Here's their classic logo. Eternal Darkness. Here they are in Sweden somewhere. Dude on the right. Look at the camera, bro. What are you doing? This might be an outtake. I don't know. The guy on the left's kind of looking somewhere else too. Maybe they're looking at Bigfoot or something. Fucking the Yeti, the Abominable Snow. I don't know what cryptid is up in Sweden up there. Abominable Snowman, I guess. Who knows? Maybe they have their own fucking, you know, their own thing. But, yeah, hanging out in the fucking forest. Planning their next death metaling it up fucking session. And then here is the Demo 92 cover. Maybe that's the location that they're at. And they're just, they took the picture, put it on the cover, and then they took the band photo on a different angle. Who knows? Killer fucking band, though. Gotta love Eternal Darkness. And let's see, they reunited in 2019. So they're back doing shit, apparently. And now, are they going to put out more material? I have no idea. I know they're, you know, if they're reunited, I assume they're going to play some festival type stuff, maybe do a killer gig up, you know, up there in Sweden. That'd be insane if they actually played out here. I know that Paul at Metal Threat, he brings some pretty fucking insane underground bands out this way. I don't know if Eternal Darkness is going to be on that list in the future or not, but if they're active, man, that would be fucking, I'd have to consider, you know, fucking actually getting out of my fucking cave here and going to a festival out of state with not playing it, you know, which I've done a couple times, thankfully, luckily, but, you know, with bands that I'm in, but it'd be cool just to go as a fan, not have to worry about business and work. Be a lot funner that way. So, Eternal Darkness, Demo 92, look it up and don't put it on if you're depressed, or maybe do put it on if you're depressed. It'll make you feel better, but it's fucking doomy and gloomy. So, you know, you heard it. It's got a little melody to it too, some haunting shit, but it's heavy as fuck. So I've always fucking loved Eternal Darkness. I got all their shit. So all right, we're gonna stay in Sweden. I try not to do this, but like I said, I just randomly grabbed the demos for this stack. This is my old beat up unanimated demo, Firestorm. Killer fucking band, kind of a all-star lineup of Swedes that got together. You know, they were known for other bands, especially Richard from Dismember. He formed this band, and you know, a little bit more on the melodic side with a little bit of black metal influence in there, but still fucking savage and fucking killer. So back in Stockholm, 1988, these guys started kicking around the idea of unanimated. And when I was writing to John from Dissection, there was one of the packages, there was an ad for this demo in there. So that's how I ended up finding out about unanimated. And I ended up writing to Jonas, the guitar player at the time. His address was on the specific ad that I saw that was in John's package that I got the Dissection demo in. So that's a cool little connection, because not only are they, you know, both from Sweden, but they're both very similar in that kind of black and death metal with melody and harmonies, and just you know, kind of I always considered it kind of a Merciful Fate, Iron Maiden influence that is tasteful and melodic, but it mixes really well. You know, I thought out of a lot of those, I'm not a really big melodic death metal guy, you know, but I really dug Dissection and Unanimated, you know. And when I mean, the early Dissection heavy death stuff is my favorite. You know, I told John that when we ended up meeting in person in '95. But you know, the later Dissection stuff that was starting to shape their sound that later came out on the 2 classic albums, I fucking love that stuff too. You know, and that's the stuff that reminds me of more of Iron Maiden. But yeah, this Firestorm demo, man, fucking really dug it. So Jonas was cool, and I don't think he's in the band anymore, but he was the dude that I wrote to. And yeah, like I said, black and death metal with a ton of melodies. They definitely started this style of, you know, blackened death melodic death metal stuff along with Dissection. And obviously quite a few bands were spawned from this kind of style, you know, including Dawn and some of the other Swedish melodic black and death metal bands that came around in both Stockholm and Gothenburg, you know, and even the early At the Gates and stuff. You know, they ended up kind of shaping their own thing. And then a lot of those bands, obviously, with Dark Tranquillity and all that stuff, you know, and later on, all the huge bands that developed out of that scene. But as far as Stockholm goes, you know, this was, they were the kings of the blackened melodic death metal. You know, Dissection was from another region altogether. So this was put out in 1991. It has 4 songs and an intro. And Through the Gates, The Blackness of the Fallen Stars. See, I'm trying to remember saying song titles. I don't always remember that, and I apologize about that, but you can always look it up. The song titles are out there. Storms from the Skies of Grief, and the classic In the Forest of the Dreaming Dead. Good stuff. It's right around 20 minutes of this craziness here on this demo. And it's a roller coaster, you know. It's all over the place tempo-wise. It's got a lot of the, you know, I don't like the term breakdown because it's the hardcore metalcore bands have like stolen that and used it. But as far as like in the sense of like Slayer, right, where they have a fast part, then they kind of break down to a mid-paced fucking headbanging riff, you know. So there's a lot of that. And I know that these bands were definitely influenced by Slayer, which we all fucking were, whatever, you know, one of the most influential bands of all time. But you know, Unanimated have a different. I'm not saying they sound like Slayer. I'm just trying to give you an idea that when these old early '90s breakdowns, you know, to where it's just kind of like a guitar solo or like heavy high notes going along with their heavy riffs. And yeah, so it's like heavy riffs coupled with the sad and eerie high notes, you know, a lot of that. The drums are just fucking pounding, really great. It just really sets the stage with a lot of even the tempo changes, and there's some really good mid-paced headbanging parts, and then a lot of fast stuff, you know. Richard Capeza, who I talked about earlier from Dismember, he actually plays bass and sings on here. I think he's still the bass player. I think they have a different singer now, but he's on this demo and he does a great job. I mean, it's fits, you know, it's kind of like the LG type vocals where it's not a deep growl, it's not a high pitched scream, it's kind of in the middle, but there are high pitched screams, but his main voice is kind of a mid range, you know, so it fits, you know. But there are, like I said, there are some killer high-pitched tortured screams on here too, which is a big part of this style, you know. That's where some of the melodies and the high-pitched screams, that's where a lot of the black metal influence comes in. And, you know, in the course of this band, you know, like I said earlier, these guys are in a bunch of other classic Swedish bands like Dismember, Desultory, Carbonized, and currently, my buddy Anders Schultz from Unleashed plays drums for Unanimated too. And I guess he's been in the band since 2011. I didn't know that. So I haven't really kept track of Unanimated. I know they had the classic debut after this demo. Let's see. Can't remember all this stuff. But yeah, In the Forest of the Dreaming Dead, that's the classic. And then the Ancient God of Evil is the album after that. And yeah, they were working with No Fashion Records, classic label of that era of the early to mid 90s. They were doing a ton of really killer stuff, and they were still doing some death metal stuff like this. This straddles the line, like I said, but then No Fashion obviously became known for mostly for black metal, you know. But yeah, this all-time classic. I found some live footage of the guys. And 1 second here. I just want to get the info. Make sure I got the right video so I don't fuck this up. Let's see. Not really sure where this video is. Obviously, it's got to be somewhere in Sweden. This is pretty early on. I'll look up the... see if I got the venue and the date of this, but I'll play it for now. Enjoy. fucking classic. It said right there, February of 1993. Let me see if I can get the venue real quick. Look this up. Sorry about that. Click on these links and damn commercials pop up. Yeah, live in Stockholm. That's Stockholm, Sweden, 1993. Classic stuff. So here is their logo. Sorry, it's a little blurry. A little low res, but that's all I can find. That was decent. There's the boys. Looks like they're hanging out the side of a boat or something. Fucking steel doors. Something. And here is the demo cover. Firestorm. Classic stuff. Yeah, my old beat up unanimated Firestorm cover. Let's see, this is the original case too. Sometimes I got to replace the cases on these guys. So find some new cases if I get a chance, if they're a little too beat up, but go check it out. It's an all-timer. All right, well, that will conclude the demo stacks portion, the demo tape stacks, but hang in there. There's more. Oh, hey, I'm back. Thanks for sticking around. So we are going to kick off the 7-inch stacks episode this evening. I had to change my shirt because this band is on. I had to kick off the episode with one of my favorite all-time 7-inches. So we're going to discuss some classic 7-inches. Moving forward, we're going to be doing some separate 7-inch stack episodes. And you got to keep them separated. That fucking Offspring song. Holy shit. Can't believe I just said that. Anyways, if you grew up in the 90s era, 80s and 90s, both, you know, you're in your 20s in the 90s, you couldn't escape that fucking song. I think it actually didn't matter what age you were. That song was fucking everywhere. So fuck them. Let's fucking go. All right. Fuck it. We're getting a little sloppy with it today. Who cares? So, like I said, we are going to start talking about some 7-inches now. And we are going to start with Morgion. Travesty. One of my all-time favorites. Catatonic Records. It was, I had already covered Morgion in a Demo Stacks episode. I talked with Rhett in depth about this era in our interview. So I don't really need to get into a lot of the history of the band and all that kind of stuff. You already know. You can go back and watch those episodes, but I wanted to kick off the 7-inch stacks with the Morgion Travesties because I feel like this 7-inch is underrated. It doesn't get enough love, and it's one of the heaviest recorded outputs in the history of music, in my opinion. I don't. If you don't agree with that, you're fucking dead wrong because all you need to do is listen to it. The guitar sound is just gnarly, gnarly. They have the best Swedish guitar sound on here that's not in Sweden. That's not Left Hand Path or, you know, Like an Ever Flowing Stream. I think that the fucking chainsaw guitar sound on this travesty, Morgion just perfected it death metal wise on here. So I already covered the Rapid Decay demo, obviously. This 7-inch came out in 1993. And my buddy John, Catatonic Records, and my other buddy Bill, too. That was John and Bill formed Catatonic Records, and this was their first release. It was a really cool time, you know. It was really exciting, you know, to have my buddy John, who was also my singer of Malfunction at the time, starting a label, you know. So it's my good friend, the singer of my band, and he's kicking off a label with another friend of ours, Bill, who I had just met, and he was awesome. And then on top of that, you know, we were tight with Morgion. You know, we were really tight with these guys. So it was fucking exciting, you know. It was really exciting. And it's like friends putting out friends music, you know. It's just fucking, that wasn't a normal thing. So this is a very, very fucking special release for me. Got a fucking special place in my dark heart. And I fucking absolutely fucking love it. It's a total classic, you know, absolutely crushing. 2 songs, Wither the Storm and Nomads of the Dawn. It's just pure dismal death doom metal madness. All-time favorite and an all-time classic. I was there, you know, as a friend of the band. I was there when they were writing these 2 songs at Sureguard Studios in Santa Ana because I was part of the Sureguard crew. I was in bands that were down there, and I was also just hanging out more often than not because I'd been hanging out there for a couple years before I even started jamming in the bands that I ended up jamming in down there. But, you know, then they went to Jim Barnes Studios in Santa Ana, which was down the street from Sureguard. And that was an engineer that had his own studio there. And he basically did all the early Orange County stuff, you know, and even Sadistic Intent did their Live at the Death Cave tape there. When Jim threw a couple of shows there, he called it the Death Cave. So there was a stage and a sound system. He would do the sound, and it was really cool. So Sadistic played a show there, and obviously Morgion played there a couple times. And my band Malfunction got to open one of the shows. It was a lot of fun. Mind Rot, Carcinogen, Phobia, you name it. I think Excruciating Terror might have came down and played, but not 100% sure. But I know, and maybe Entity, but I can't remember those 2 for sure. But Sadistic Intent definitely came down and did a show down there, and they recorded it. So I have that too. I'm going to be talking about that in the future as well, but that's a rare one. But I was at the Jim Barnes Studios, you know, when they were recording this fucking beast, this fucking bad boy. Matt from Mind Rot was there doing keyboards, so the keyboard parts fucking, as you know, Rhett and I talked about Matty F. It was a typo on whoever typed up the information on the back cover. That it had a little typo, and instead of Matt Fisher, it was Matty F. So it was cool because Sureguard Studios was the rehearsal spot, and then Jim Barnes Studios was down the street, so that was the hub. Santa Ana was the hub of Orange County death metal and grindcore back then. And it all revolved around that area, right off the 5 freeway and the main part of Santa Ana down there. And what a time to be alive, you know. Like I said, friends putting out friends, and I don't think that this release gets enough love. Like I said, friends doing things, you know. It's just pretty incredible. You know, that, like I said in the last episode, you know, these guys formed in 1990 in Orange County, and I don't think they ever had an idea that they were ever going to put out a record. When they, you know, you didn't really think that far ahead when you're that young. You know, it's just pretty crazy, especially with this type of music. Even back then, it wasn't a everyday thing. Let me play a little bit of Nomads of the Dawn. This is some fucking, I hope you're ready. Fucking put your seatbelt on now, all right? This might be a little too heavy for some. Be careful. Yeah. It's fucking heavy duty. Holy shit. Deadly, 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 deadly. Show some. There's their classic logo. I believe our buddy Dino Samisi from Carcinogen and Dystopia made that logo for him, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think I showed this picture before. There's the boys in the cemetery. Rhett and I couldn't remember if this was Fairhaven Cemetery in Santa Ana, which my bass player from Ruin, Mr. Steve, lives by, or if this was, there's a cemetery in Anaheim that I forget the name of it, but I know that the guy in the middle, Jeremy there, and Dwayne on the far right, they both lived in Anaheim. So it might have been one of the two. And then here is the cover. And then I found a really cool, I think I showed this on the Red interview too, but this is a really cool picture of them from this era. I believe from what Rhett said that this is them opening for Grave, either at Spanky's in Riverside or at the, might be the Showcase in Corona, but I think this is Spanky's Riverside, if I'm not mistaken. Old school. Jeremy's got the BC Rich classic bass. Fucking Dwayne in the old school Entomb shirt. There's Rhett in the background fucking jamming out. And I think, I don't know if Mike Davis or Jason, this other dude, Jason they had on guitar for a while, was playing at this show. But those were the two guitar players around at the time. That might even be my head right there in the right. I had long blonde hair back in the day, so that might have been my head. Can't recall, but fucking all-timer. I had to kick off the 7-inch stacks with, this is a top 5 7-inch for me. If not, might be my all-time favorite. Yeah, it's hard to, pick your favorite child, right? But, yeah, fucking Morgion Travesty. Go look that shit up. You already heard some of it. That's heavy as all fuck. All right. Next up on the 7-inch stacks, we're going to talk about a couple of Baphomet Records releases. Necrophile, Dissociated Modernity. So Necrophile was formed in Tokyo, Japan in 1987. Going back a ways, definitely innovators of Japanese death metal along with Transgressor. And my buddy Takashi plays in Necrophile, and killer band. So there's 2 songs on here, the title track and one of their more legendary known songs that made the rounds on compilations and a lot of the underground freaks are familiar with, Night of the Gloomy Narcissist. So that's a great song too. They're both great, but yeah. Necrophile, Baphomet Records, classic stuff here. So they, this was the 3rd 7-inch on Baphomet. I'm going to talk about another one next. And then the first one that Rafael Rivera released, I'm going to include on a different Los Angeles underground 7-inch show that I had planned as well, where I have a group of LA underground bands. If you're familiar with who put out 7 inches back then you probably have an idea. But let's see. So yeah, Baphomet was based out of LA. Like I said, Rafael Rivera had the label, kind of an infamous figure here in Los Angeles, kind of a known rip-off dude, bootlegger, I guess, or whatever. I always got along with them, never had an issue with them. Like I said, I contributed to the underground economy because I was buying bootlegs from Rafael and Tony and some other people that I've brought up, some of the characters of my past. And I was a character too, so I was buying this stuff. I didn't really, the ethical wise, I don't know. I didn't really care. We were all tape trading and buying stuff that were bootlegs and whatnot. We didn't care, stuff coming up from Mexico, from the Chopo market. And as long as we got copies of it, This was legit, though. This is a legit copy from Raphael. So, yeah, Necrophile is like really, I always called them creepy crawly death metal. You know, they got a creepy vibe to them. They got a lot of roller coaster death metal arrangements, very much similar to Morbid Angel. There's a dynamic that's really similar. You know, they go up and down, fast, slow, all over the place, kind of like how Altars of Madness was. I always said Altars of Madness was like a roller coaster in hell, you know, and Necrophile is very similar. You know, grind parts give way to slower, doomy passages, and of course they got the mid-paced and somewhat faster death metal parts. And I think they're underrated. I think this is a fucking all-time classic 7-inch. Necrophile is basically an underrated band as a whole, too, I thought. Yeah, I got both this 7-inch and the next Baphomet record 7-inch I'm going to talk about next. I got both of those from Raphael at a show. I'm not 100%. I don't remember exactly what show it was because Necrophile actually played Los Angeles back in 1991. I'll talk about that in a second. That was at the legendary Waters Club. But I don't think I bought these two 7-inches from him at that show, ironically enough. I don't think these were out yet. But I did see, you know, Raphael was always around shows, and he always had tapes and records that he had a box. So he always had stuff. So I was always buying stuff from him. And he was basically slanging them out of the trunk of his car pretty much. It's not like we didn't have distros that had booths back then, you know, or merchandise tables and stuff. That the bands barely had merchandise. You know, even the touring death metal bands like Morbid Angel, they had a shirt section or whatever. Carcass, Napalm, you know, Bolt Thrower. They all had their merchandise setups or whatever. But a lot of local bands might have some shirts and a demo or something, maybe a CD. You know, but it wasn't like there wasn't like widespread distros and tables full of people with all kinds of different shit. You know, it wasn't like that. So Raphael didn't have like a booth or anything or a table set up. He just had it, you know, after the show, you run into him, or before the show in the parking lot or whatever, you run into him and bam, he had a box of stuff, or he had stuff in the trunk of his car, like I said, you know, just slanging demos and 7-inches out of there. Yeah, Necrophile put out 3 classic demos. We got those as well, but they put out the 3 demos prior to this split, and then they had a bunch of other stuff after this. I think they even put out a full length at one point. Classic stuff. And so yeah, they played Los Angeles. Let's talk about that a bit. This is the show they played with Sadistic Intent, Nausea. There's my buddy John from Death Shit there. They opened the show. That's John from Malfunction. And also Marcel Keith from Malfunction. They were in Malfunction. Marcel was in Malfunction for like one show and some practices prior to that, and then he quit. And then we were just a 4-piece. My buddy Sean played bass, and basically John and Keith from Death Shit moved over to Malfunction, and we got Malfunction going. But we took a couple guys from Death Shit, put them in Malfunction. And then Vehemence was a local LA band. They were called Crimson Death before, and Crimson Death was fucking awesome. Vehemence was kind of a thrash metal band. They weren't that great, and but Crimson Death was killer. I preferred them a little bit. Ralph from Vehemence, the singer, great dude though, really good dude. Fixture in the scene, been around forever, knew everybody. So part of the Northeast LA Nella crew. But yeah, of course, Nausea fucking rules. Sadistic. That was a great show. That was at the legendary Waters Club in San Pedro. Obviously, no longer there anymore. I'm not really sure how and why Necrophile played here all of a sudden. It was this just last minute thing. It was quite a surprise. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong, it was killer, but I can't remember why, you know, they came out here for whatever reason, but that's fucking killer. You know, why complain about it, right? They were fucking here. That's all that matters. And they were fucking amazing. Great fucking show. This was a flyer that I ran into as well. It's kind of weird, kind of cheesy looking. I don't know if like Sarcastic made it. I don't think Sarcastic played. Maybe. I don't know who Junior is. That's called Junior for pre-sale tickets because they, of course, Southern California is known for pay to play and pre-sale and all that shit. Awesome Possum Productions. I think that's that weirdo Ron Nagby. It was the name of the promoter. He was, I don't know if he was a child molester or something happened to the guy and he got beat up and chased out of LA. I don't know. there was all kinds of rumors going around, but the Waters Club ended up closing anyways. But I don't think Sarcastic was another local band. I don't think they played. This other flyer was much better anyways. And then here's Necrophile on stage. Classic stuff. 7/27, 1991. Killing it up there. Yeah, they were fucking amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing. It was a legendary night for sure. And then the cool thing after the show, now I wasn't here, but this is my buddy Jerry's house. This is Jerry from Excruciating Terror. This is his infamous backyard that I have spent many a night and morning and afternoon in, because we used to do all night and day drinking sessions there. So yeah, we had a good old time. And this is a hodgepodge of Excruciating Terror, Entity, there's some Sadistic Intent guys. I think I see Big Rob in there, the infamous roadie. And there's my buddy George Castillo down there kneeling. You see that big old mustache. That's Raul from Excruciating Terror down there at the bottom row. And then you can see Martin and Victor in the top row from ET. There's Bobby with the beer in the center. And yeah, it's just a, and then the the Necrophile guys are down there, kind of in the bottom right, bottom middle area there, white shirt, red shirt. And yeah, they came back to Jerry's house to party. And I don't know who snapped the picture, but it's a classic. I didn't make it, but I just heard about it. It was one of those things like, fuck, I missed out, man. This would have been fun, fucking hanging out with all these fucking crazy fuckers, raging it up, hanging out with Necrophile, showing Necrophile a good old time. Showing Necrophile how you do it in East LA and Northeast LA. Drinking some beers and raging it up. But yeah, classic photo. Well, let's bust out some Necrophile. Here you go. This is some of the 7-inch. Check it out. Fucking brutal. Hell yeah. Classic. Here's the band logo. Might be familiar with that. Here's an old picture of the boys. Classic. Rough, old, beat up picture. There's my buddy Takashi-san. Takashi Tanaka in the middle there. Awesome dude. And then here's the cover. Interesting art too. Wrote little stuff in there. Yeah, it's fucking cool. There's some crazy shit in there. Interesting. I don't know if that's like Japanese folklore art, where they got that, but very interesting, killer stuff. There you go. 7-inch stacks. Necrophile. Go check it out. Killer. All right, moving right along. Here is the next 7-inch stack record. The mighty Cenotaph from Mexico. The Eternal Disgrace. I found an ad. That's what that was. Here's an old ad for this. Pretty cool. Here's the back cover here. This is the second release on Baphomet Records that Raphael put out. So CENOTAPH was formed in Mexico City, Mexico in 1989. They were originally Damned Cross. And later that year, they changed the name to CENOTAPH. And this is actually the second 7-inch that CENOTAPH did. And again, I got this one and the Necrophile from Raphael himself at a show. I just can't remember which show it was. Put this ad back in here. But this is some heavy, heavy, heavy duty death metal. Totally crushing. Oh, yeah, and here's the red vinyl. Forgot. I was trying to remember what color the vinyl was. So this 7-inch came out in 1991. There's 2 songs on here, Dissection and Tenebrous Apparitions, which was the title of their first 7-inch. So yeah, that's cool. They kind of tied that in. And like I said, it was the second 7-inch put out by Raphael and Baphomet. I think CENOTAPH's very innovative and ahead of their time, you know, as far as like that heavy, disgusting and repulsive death metal, heavy as all fuck, you know. Later on, they went out to put out some great albums, you know. The Gloomy Reflection of Our Hidden Sorrows is one of my all-time favorites. That's their debut. And they're still at it currently, too. My buddy Enrique Chavez sings for them when they play America, when they do, you know, show appearances and fest appearances here. So that was cool. We were happy for him being able to do that. And yeah, this is just a fucking crusher, man. Both CENOTAPH 7-inches are just massive influences on Ruin. And let me play some of this fucking sickness. Man, fucking heavy duty shit, huh? I know you sickos have already heard this, but you've heard that song. Here's a classic picture. The boys. There's Oscar on the far right. Good guy was able to Ruin played with Cenotaph. I think that was earlier this year, maybe late last year or something like that. It was not too long ago. Killer times. And yeah, Enrique and his wife Emma, my good friend Emma Pintado, sister of Jesse Pintado. Enrique and Emma had Ruin on their big event that they did that weekend, and Cenotaph headlined, and Enrique sang with them, and that was fucking great. And I got to meet the guys in the band. I think Oscar there is the only guy from this lineup that's still in there. I know they have an original guitar player from the Gloomy album, I believe, or maybe the album after that. But yeah, cool old school picture with the logo on there. And then here's the cover. You know, honestly, Raphael's quality of his covers aren't the best, but, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's cool. Red vinyl, though, you know, that was back then, that was kind of rare. I mean, it was out there, but not like today where there's like 500 color variants and, ooh, fucking confetti and fucking, oh, fucking green puke splatter. Oh, fuck, I need to buy every variant. Not like that. Classic stuff, though. And definitely these two Cenotaph 7-inches, just all-time favorites. Can't get enough of them. So go check them out. Mexican Death Metal Gods. Definitely going to do a episode about Mexican death metal and death thrash. I already grabbed the demos and set them aside, put them in a small box with 8 demos. So I'm going to be talking about those. Technically, Cenotaph might not be in there because they didn't actually officially release a demo other than their debut, which I don't have. That was the Rise of Excretion or something like that. I never got that. And then, but they did do a promo tape that I got my hands on that has the 2 7-inches on it. So I don't know if that counts. I kind of grabbed it and set it aside. I don't know if I'm going to include that on there because it's not an official demo and I don't have it. So I'm only doing stuff that I have. So it remains to be seen if I'm going to include that on there. But fucking the Eternal Disgrace, Cenotaph, there's the 2 7-inches on Baphomet that are part of this show. And like I said, I got the other release, the Nausea 7-inch. I'm going to put that as part of the LA Vinyl Stacks episode that I'm going to be doing. So go check out fucking Cenotaph, the Eternal Disgrace. All right. We are going to end the 7-inch stacks and this whole episode 22 with PYOGENESIS. Get the glare off of there, sorry. All-time classic. And they did 2 7-inches in 1992, and this is one of them. I'm going to talk about this one today. And so a little bit of the history. I mean, we already went over PYOGENESIS on a prior episode as far as their demo and their history, so I'm not going to get too deep with all that stuff. But they're from Germany. They're formed in 1991. And the other Demo Stacks episode, like I said, I get more in depth with their history or whatever. And this one is Sacrificious Profanity, this 7-inch. Rise of the Unholy is the other one, and I'll talk about that one in another episode. But there's 2 songs on here, the title track and Lowland of Impiety. And, you know, it's just pure doom death greatness. It's on full display with this band. Fucking killer riffs, heavy as fuck, great vocals. I think this early era of the band with the demo and the 7-inches and that first EP that was on Osmos is really underrated. The Osmos stuff, you know, obviously they started getting more gothic, Paradise Lost, a little bit of My Dying Bride, you know, album debut type, you know, a little bit different, female vocals, keyboards, not as not as straight death metal, but still killer. But yeah, this death metal stuff is second to none. They're super underrated. The 2 7-inches and the demo are just fucking crushing, and really gloomy, you know, death metal in all its glory. This era is just so killer. The label Symphonies of Death was a small and short-lived label out of Colombia, but they did Transgressor and a Hideous Corpse 7-inch, and I got a really cool CD from Takashi Tanaka from Necrophile. A couple years ago, we did, maybe 2-3 years ago, Takashi and I did a trade, so I sent him a bunch of Ruin stuff, and he sent me a bunch of his bands: Necrophile, Transgressor, Worm Ridden, Anatomia, obviously, and a bunch of stuff, different tapes, CDs, a poster, you know, different stuff, patches, stickers, you know, all the different bands he's in. It was really cool. And one of the things he sent me in that trade was was it Symphonies of Death? It was a CD compilation that had this 7-inch, the Transgressor 7-inch, and the Hideous Corpse 7-inch that label put out. So it had, you know, 2 songs from each band. So there's 6 songs on there. And the 3 7-inches that they put out back in the day, they had put that on a CD compilation. I don't know if that same label put that out, maybe years later, but it was really cool. So I got to put that in my car, and oh yeah, you know, I have all 3 of these fucking 7-inches because I got the Transgressor and the Hideous Corpse too. I like that label. You know, it's one of those things, you know, when you found out about a label, even if it was Baphomet or Symphonies of Death, you know, you start following whatever they're doing, you know, especially Seraphic Decay, Thrash Records, Putrefaction, you know, any of the labels that I discussed, you start hunting that stuff down. Whatever they put out, you want to check it out. You know, we didn't have the internet back then, so we didn't even have, like, late 90s, early 2000s, those listening stations got really popular with Tower Records, even indie record stores. You know, you could put stuff on, even vinyl. If you were careful with it, they were comfortable with it. You could put vinyl on and listen to it before you bought it, as long as you were careful with it. But yeah, I'll be talking about those other 7-inches on future shows or whatnot. I'll even see if I could dig up that CD that Takashi sent me. Talk about it really quick. But just fucking totally fucking crushing fucking Death Doom. Again, it's funny, the quality of the jacket's not the best, but it doesn't matter. The music that's on here is just fucking so goddamn heavy. So very heavy. And speaking of, check this out. See, it's not all doom and gloom, but you know, they definitely got the doom death thing down pat, but they got some killer fucking fast parts too. So as you heard. So yeah, fuck yeah. Lowland of Impiety, what a fucking song. Killer. There's their old classic logo. I gotta get a fucking shirt. Gotta get a shirt, even if it's just that logo. I gotta fucking hunt one down. Amazing. And then old band photo. I don't know what the fucking dude on the floor has got going on, man. He's bloody. He's biting something. Crazy Germans. Probably at the maybe he was hanging out at the Scheisse place. Got pissed, fucking bit someone. Trying to hang out with one of the ladies of the night. She pissed him off. Who knows? But dude's got the fucking on the left, the high tops and the mullet. Looks like he's hanging out in LA in 2005. Oh wait, should be the other way around, right? 80s. Just talking shit. So a bunch of kids look like that in 2005, the thrash revival around here. There's the cover. Weird. You know, we love the Germans, but they're a little strange with some stuff. So it's all good. You got fucking eyeballs and hands and shit. Fucking maybe High on Blood. That dude made the cover after he fucking bit someone and thought he was a fucking German vampire or something. Who knows? But PYOGENESIS, baby. This is one of the legendary crushing 7-inches. So I got one more I'm going to be talking about in the future for PYOGENESIS, and that will be on a future 7-inch stack show. Well, our time has come to an end, you sickos. I appreciate you. We're approaching 2 hours now, but you know, the last part of that obviously was to introduce the 7-inch stacks. So hopefully you dug it. Let me know in the comments what you think, and hopefully you're looking forward to some more madness. I got some really cool shit coming up. Just got to find the time to cram it all in here. And again, like I said, the interviews and those other concept shows that I'm doing with the different states, different countries, regions, and of course the vinyl stacks will be coming up. I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. Well, maybe do 5 at a time or something like that, because with the full lengths, you know, be taking a little bit deeper of a dive with some of that stuff, especially those essential top tier classics, you know. But don't forget to like the video, check out the other videos, comment. I apologize for not responding to everybody recently. I've been very busy, but I've been trying to like the comments and whatnot. And, you know, if you know me on social media or whatever, hit me up and we can chat a little easier on there. It's hard for me to chat on YouTube sometimes, but the comments have been awesome. I really appreciate all of the support, especially from the other YouTubers that I've been getting in contact with, and Metal Miners and Melanie. You know, I appreciate you guys. I know you've been watching and supporting and spreading the word for me, and I just can't thank you enough. You fucking rule. I will try to do the same for you, but although, you know, some of you have like tons and tons of followers already, so, you know, my little tiny scrubby channel appreciates you helping out. So let's keep spreading the word and doing the fucking good work here. You know, keep it positive and fucking focused, especially in this day and age with all the negativity and bullshit we have to deal with worldwide. And yeah, man, just fucking try to focus on the good shit, like classic demos and classic 7-inches and death fucking metal. So I appreciate you again. Thank you. Until next time, you crazy motherfuckers have a good one and have an even better one tomorrow. See ya.